stand in line to face the music and speak with these hands of mine like a pantomime. You on this team and plan to shine, you probably stab his spine. You watch who you stand in front of, you watch who you stand behind.
The bullets protect you. They'll get everybody you played with. That chopper pick niggas up with no warning. It's a slave ship.
He walk in the parking lot, leaving the party feeling shake. Bad boys too. You know when Marcus daughter finna date, I meet Reggie at the door and put a 40 in his face.
Hello. Welcome back to Speak Our Language Show. And today's guest, I've been trying to get this guy on the show for a minute. Mr. Battlerap, hold it down. How you doing today?
Doing good, brother, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I got a lot of things in the works. I just finished the Rappers Pentagon Season 1 contest, which a video will be coming out for that soon. The surveys for voting will be going out. The winner of that contest will receive $500 plus a plaque. So we're doing something nice for those battlers over there. But hey, man, I'm doing good. Just trying to create battle rap content, man, which is why I brought you over here. You know what I'm saying? Because you do a really good job of that. If you haven't already, please, follow his Patreon. He released really great content, exclusive content that's really dope. So please subscribe to that. Today's episode, we both love wrestling.
Thanks.
Both love battle rap, and they're pretty much one and the same.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to do 5 of our favorite battle rap events, and we're going to compare those to 5 of our favorite WWE pay-per-views. Right. So I'm gonna start it off. Just to set the tone. So I'm gonna start off with KOTD's Blackout 5. This is one of my favorite blackouts of all time. What's on Blackout 5? You have Pat Stay versus Sharon, which is probably one of the best title defenses of all time. You had Conceited. You have Conceited versus Dumbfounded. That went viral. Hitman versus Shotty Horror. DNA versus Ilmac. Big T and Rome. That went viral. Shuffle T Kid Twist. Chilla Jones 100 Bullets. Mad Child and Daylight. T-Rex and Holohan. Head Ice and Serious Jump. That card was stacked. Right, that card was stacked. I think that you got a lot of high profile matchups. You got a couple of people got handled, but you still got a couple competitive matchups too. My favorite battle on that card, outside of Pat Stay and Sharon, is Conceited and Dumbfounded, just because even though it was more on the viral aspect side, I like
the racial side.
Yeah, right. But it still was very entertaining. And also Big T and Roan is also one of those same type of battles that went viral because of Roan. He was wilding on him. Man. But that's the first event that I'm going to use, and I'm going to compare that to Cyber Sunday 08. The reason why I'm comparing it to Cyber Sunday is because the blackout concept, right? So it's like a randomized, well, it's not randomized to them because they make the matchups, but we don't know the matchups until go to the event. So for Cyber Sunday, it's kind of like a voting system to where we won't necessarily know the matchup until that day of the event. Like they do like a whole little timer of people voting, and then all of a sudden we find out what type of battle or what type of fight it is, or what type of match type, what type of referee we're gonna have for the special referee. And then you had Batista versus Chris Jericho, and they chose Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest referee. Triple H was defending the WWE Championship, and they chose obviously Jeff Hardy. That was when Jeff Hardy was getting his push to win the WWE the title or whatever. But yeah, man, I think that Cyber Sunday 08 was extremely great comparison in that regard, in terms of the randomized events, the randomized matchups, and just good matchups in general. But that's what I got at number 5. What are you gonna start it off with?
I imagine you're gonna start off with something you already. I saw your. I think you did Summer Madness.
Yeah.
So I'm basically gonna steal what you already did. So Summer Summer Madness 2, we all know what the pinnacle of battle rap is. There has to be something. It's a Return of the Legends, Loaded Lux, Mook, Iron, Sirius, Hitman Holla. It's crazy to think that even then he was considered like a mega superstar that's returning. And also, it's like kind of the end of an era for like New York, Midwest movement, that whole rivalry.
Right.
So figure that I have to go WrestleMania 17.
Absolutely.
It has to be. It's the end of the era, Attitude Era. You got Rock, Austin, Triple H, Undertaker, Kurt, Benoit, the TLC, McMahon versus McMahon. It's like the end of the era of like the height of what wrestling is. So
Attitude Era, 100%.
You gotta do both of them together. So
yeah. No, I love that comparison, and it's like. It's so in your face that like you can't make a better comparison than that, because it's just like it was the end of an era for battle rap, and it was also the end of an era for wrestling. The Attitude Era, it shifted into Ruthless Aggression, and then battle rap where like it kind of shifted into mainstream a little bit. And the thing is, it's like what happened was these events were so big and it was like the pinnacle and so huge to where it kind of messed up the trajectory the following year. If you remember, there was a time period where
bars over names.
Exactly, bars over names. You know what I'm saying? 100%. All right, you set the tone with that one. Next one, this is another KOTD event. I'm actually going with Battle of LA 5. What's that card? Daylight, Charlie Clips, Real Deal, and Chilla Jones. The first time they met, they had their matchup. Ilmac and Verb, and obviously, you know what I'm saying, the controversy between Disaster and Matt Hoffa. This card was really, really good, even with the whole blow up towards the end. I feel like you got a lot of like highlight moments. I think that to me the most. Oh, I forgot. O-Red versus Rum Nitty was on that card too. That was before Rum Nitty was like Rum Nitty. Like that was before, and that was when O-Red was really taking advantage of those up and comers. You know what I'm saying? Which on a watch back, it's a good battle. I'm not gonna lie. O-Red,
that's crazy. I remember watching it when it happened in real time. I did not remember that. Like, I don't really remember that battle. That's crazy.
It's not a bad battle. It's just, I think O-Red was just a little bit more seasoned. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I think the card was really, really entertaining. To me, in terms of competitiveness, I think Chilla Jones and Real Deal was like the most competitive card of the night, maybe outside of a Daylight and Charlie Clips battle. But
I love that battle. That was one of my
really, really dope battles.
Daylight. Yeah.
I think that's one of
started the whole I don't know what you call it. He didn't call it a name, like put you in the bag.
The rhyme scheme. Yeah,
rhyme scheme.
I'm gonna keep it going. Yeah, right.
Can I keep it going? Like,
yeah,
that's
dope battle, and I think that's probably one of the best clips performances in terms of like holistically, like a 3-round,
you took it
like
serious.
All in. And not just bar for bar, not just like 4-bar build up schemes, angles. But I really that's one of my favorite KOTD cards of all time. And I'm going to compare that to Royal Rumble 2000. When I think of Royal Rumble 2000, I think of Off Rip, Triple H, Cactus Jack, Street Fight. You know what I'm saying? I would compare that to Daylights and Charlie Clips to a degree. I feel like Daylights more of that Cactus Jack persona, and then you know what I'm saying? Charlie Clips is that guy, like he got the machine behind him, and like, you know what I'm saying, he's taking on, like, you know what I'm saying, trying to prove to everybody that he's one of the best across multiple leagues, not just URL, not just whatever. And then you got the Dudleys and the Hardys in the table match. Crazy match. The Royal Rumble was fire. That was when The Rock won, but he didn't really win.
I always was mad about that. They should just let them like forget the footage, like they delete it somewhere.
Right.
Face Triple H at WrestleMania.
Right.
Win the title. Like it was.
Yeah, but I compare those two together, you know, just because, again, I think that in terms of entertainment from top to bottom, extremely entertaining. You have your competitive matchups, you have your like dominant wins here and there, but for the most part, I feel like it kind of encapsulates an era of KOTD where there was like a I'm not gonna say that was the peak of KOTD because I still feel like Blackout 5 is like the peak of KOTD, but I do think that it was showing the trajectory of where KOTD was going. I feel like you get a couple events like you know what I'm saying, Vendetta when you know, it was Rich Dollars and Daylight and Disaster versus Cannabis. Like you get those type of events early on, but I feel like 2014, 2015 was kind of when they was really hitting their stride with back-to-back, like really, really solid events, man.
That was the pinnacle. I think that's the pinnacle of battle rap. 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
That guerrilla warfare, Black Ops Cartel. Like,
yep.
I missed that era.
Yeah. Across multiple leagues, small leagues, big leagues, like
Queen of the Ring. Like everybody was
fire
in top tier matches.
Yeah. Queen of the Ring actually had their first no holds barred, which is kind of similar to like their NOME. Like it's like the Queen of the Ring's NOME in 2014. That was when they had 40 and Jazz. They had Official and Couture. They had that was a card. That was a dope card.
That the remote
Tori
Dare.
Yeah.
That was the remote.
Yeah.
That was yeah. Number 4, I gotta go. WrestleMania 18 had a match that kind of defined 2 eras.
Right.
It probably built around the whole pay-per-view was built around this one match.
Right.
So Rock versus Hogan.
Yeah.
You know, we have 2 era versus like the golden era.
Mm-hmm.
So, and really all the other matches were cool. You had Flair, you had Undertaker. It was all right. You know? But for real, after Rock and Hogan, like nothing really mattered. Nobody really cared. Yeah. So not to itch on the league I'm about to talk about, but I have to say Mook versus Verb, 2018. That I've never been as nervous watching a battle as I was watching Mook and Verb. I don't know why. I'm a Lux guy. For some reason, watching Mook put the do-rag on, and Verb just like, like I've never seen Verb that animated in my life. Like, he was like, and it's like that battle and everything surrounding it. It was cool. You had B-Dot, you had Swave. You had even Head Ice and King Los, which I still wish it would have been Daylight, but it is what it is. They still got that happened. But I think just that whole card was built around this one battle.
It was called the Mook and Verb card. That's like the first time they did something like that. So
so I think that's the best way to compare it because it's kind of like defining 2 eras. And for many people have Verb beating Mook, and of course Rock beat Hogan. So it's kind of like battling in that. So I have to go Mook versus Verb card, which didn't even have a name for it. I don't think
it was just called Mook and Verb.
Yeah, really, most people remember WrestleMania 18 for Rock versus Hogan. So
it's crazy because it's like what was supposed to be, like you mentioned, like that was supposed to be a double header. That was supposed to be King Los and Daylight, and that was going to be 2 mega. And I think if we had got that battle before 2020, 2021, I feel like Daylight and King Los would have been that much better. I feel like when they rebooked it, I feel like Daylight had his like crazy Rock performance. Not to say he didn't really care for the King Los performance as much, but it's like he already showcased how great he was, and he pretty much had the performance of his career against Rock.
Yeah.
So him coming into the King Los battle, it was like there were stakes there, but not really though, because it's like
he didn't want to kill him.
Exactly, like exactly. So yeah, but that's a good comparison when you really think about it. I do think that like if there was one other match, I guess, on 2018 that was like good, but obviously wasn't gonna match whatchamacallit. I would say there was one match that I actually did enjoy. I want to say it was like William Regal and Van Dam. Yeah. And I would compare that to like something like Pat Stay and Danny, where like if there was like
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I would compare it to that just because it's like it may not be like the talk of the night, but anyone that watched that battle understood like, oh, that's a really good battle. Like that was a really
nobody expected it.
Right. Exactly, because it was a style clash. Okay.
Actually, what's crazy is since we're still on that card, watching ARP's recent videos, he said that card was originally supposed to be St. Louis versus New York. So that's crazy to think about. That really could have been a different, completely different card. Had ARP been able to get that off, but we know the powers that be. You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
And number 3, I'm choosing our RBE card, and I'm going with the first ever Pearly Gates. Now, what was on the first ever Pearly Gates? You had Big K versus O-Red. Champion of the Year implications. You had JC versus Ilmac. Ilmac making his debut. You know what I'm saying, on RBE. You had Daylight versus Ill Will. That's one of my favorite Ill Will performances of his career. And then you got DNA versus Big Cannon, which is one of my favorite DNA performances. He was wilding in that battle. Yeah, like I said, man, I think it was a very entertaining card from top to bottom. You know, JC Ilmac, you know, a lot of people. Ilmac was a super duper underdog going into that battle, and I felt like he either matched or surpassed JC in that performance. Daylight, Ill Will. This one, a few times I felt like you could argue that somebody actually may have like outbroke Daylight, because I feel like Ill Will was in his bag. Like, he came out the gate with the KI, man, and in his third round, come on, man, that's probably one of.
I've never seen somebody out. Yeah, I think in that third round, he showed levels that I think that Daylight might have underestimated him a little bit.
Yeah,
because I've never seen somebody really. He had the performance. He had the aggression. I think he kind of out. Yeah. I think Daylight kind of became stale with the mask. I think that was the first time we saw him put the mask on. It was like it wasn't like that. So
right. And then DNA versus Big Cannon. DNA is one of my favorite battlers, and watching him go against Big Cannon and like have angles, mid-round rebuttals, good riddance, and like he said, "You didn't catch diabetes, you gained it." That's one of my favorite lines, bro. And I'm not even trying to make fun of Big Cannon. Big Cannon, you know, Midwest.
No, he don't. He don't. But
that was one of my favorite. Like, out of all the lines, he was like, "You didn't catch diabetes, you gained it." Like, yeah, man. But I compare Pearly Gates to SummerSlam 2000. You got the triple threat match between Kurt Angle, The Rock, and Triple H. You had the first ever tag team triple threat TLC match. That was the first ever one. I don't remember the rest of the card, but I know the undercard was really, really fire too. That was probably one of the best. Yeah. I knew the rest of the undercard was fire, and I knew that was one of the best SummerSlams of all time. Like, you would have to go back to like the 80s or whatever to find like, you know, a SummerSlam better than that or whatever.
Like 92, trying to go all the way back.
92 as well. Yeah. Like, so yeah, but that's what I compared it to, just because it's just the entertainment value, and also again trajectory, right? I feel like SummerSlam 2000, you know, you were seeing where, like, you know, WWF at the time was headed in terms of like who their stars were. That was when Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't even a priority. They got to the point where you know, The Rock was like the main guy, then Triple H was becoming the main guy, and then Kurt Angle was becoming, like, you know what I'm saying, Kurt Angle will win the championship on No Mercy or whatever and go through his run, you know what I'm saying? So they were starting to create really, really great heels, really, really great top guys, to where they didn't have to rely on Stone Cold so much.
That's crazy to really about too. Usually the biggest star, you still have the biggest year in terms of gross and pick stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. But that's what I had at number 3. What you got at number 3?
Number 3. This is probably my favorite one, most fun one. When we got Summer Impact, the team. That was the most fun I ever had watching the pay-per-view from Jazz Bardashians. Shout out to 40 Bars. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to 40 Bars. But that was a kill. That was a killer right there. NWX versus EFB.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I know that people be saying, "Oh, this was the best 2-on-2 of all time." No, this is probably easily up there too. I know people say A Ward, They say A Ward and Loso against B Dot and Geechee. They also say like the Av and Fonz against K Shine and Luke. All things considered, on a big stage, two different styles. You have the performative side with NWX, and you have EFB with the more. I think to me that's my favorite 2-on-2 of all time. I'm gonna keep it at that. But go ahead.
I was gonna say that, but then you have. But hold up, no, you still got Charlie Clips and Goods with Hitman and
John, yeah,
John with the whole remix. But mine is Holy Hollow.
Yep.
Versus Conte and King. I've seen a lot of battle rap. Then Loaded Lux put that gray hoodie on. I still have it on my Twitter. I think I lost I lost my mind when he put that hoodie on. So yeah, some stuff like that, and just both of them are so crazy. Just to think that Sue Surf was supposed to be in there, and then they had to rewrite in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But when I think about just the tag team aspect,
yes,
around teams,
yes,
I think the Survivor Series. So Survivor Series, and I think about the implications of Survivor Series. I gotta go 2001.
Absolutely.
Alliance versus WWF at the time.
Right.
Everything surrounding that, with winner takes all. So I think that it was still probably the most star-studded tag team versus tag team at the time, even though they could have had way more. But I think of just the implications of it.
Right.
When you compare the two, Loaded Lux is just coming off of Verb, and people kind of wondering, can Loaded Lux really survive in this current era? And then you had NWS come back after DNA been going. There's everything going on. Those two right there, and even the Harleys versus Dudleys and still Cage was crazy. Test won the inaugural battle royal. You had Trish win the world title for the first time. There's still moments in there people don't really remember, but when you look back, it was really important stuff to set up the future. So yeah, I gotta go Survivor Series 2001 with Summer Impact.
Yeah, and you had probably one of the biggest. I think it's one of the biggest haymakers of all time. When Twerk jumped over Suge, my Midwest heart sank. I was like, why are you doing this to the Midwest Legends, man? Y'all could have did this against any other team. The event I have at number 2 is my personal favorite. I got Summer Madness 4. When I think of Summer Madness 4, I also think of the pinnacle, right? I also think of a changing of the guard too. We say end of the era for Summer Madness 2, but changing of the guard, and that this is when we see Tay-Rock is here to stay. He got DNA out of here. This is when we see Charlie Clips is here to stay. That's when he demolished Rex. You know what I'm saying? And then
Rex is just coming off a total slaughter.
Yeah, came right off the total slaughter. It didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Era versus Era in terms of B Magic and Conceited. Crazy battle. You also got Hitman versus Surf. And then even the
highest viewed battle, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's the highest viewed battle on the URL channel. It's about to hit 10 million views.
That's wild.
And then even the battles, right? Even A Verb versus John. A Verb had moments in that battle. You know what I'm saying? I Am a Rooster didn't, but there's other 2 rounds. I know that's what people think about. His first 2 rounds against John was actually really good.
But that's what Verb get. I love Verb. He's my top 3 all time. But he tried to take Daylight style. Yeah. Why you gonna take his style? But then you want to talk about the tape. Come on.
But yeah, but I really, really enjoyed Summer Madness 4. It may not be the best Summer Madness because you could debate Summer Madness 2, but for me, it's my favorite because one thing that Summer Madness 4 have that Summer Madness 2 don't have is competitive matchups from a multitude of competitive matchups. I feel you get a lot of historical moments, but in terms of competitive back and forth matchups, I feel you might get a little bit more of that on Summer Madness 4. That's just my opinion though. But I compare Summer Madness 4 to WrestleMania 21. I feel you want that, you know what I'm saying, that clash. You get Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, and I feel I could easily compare that to Conceited and B Magic. Or no, I compare that to Sue Surf and Hitman in terms of that clash.
It's still the same.
Yeah, but in terms of and then the changing of the guard, I feel like Triple H and Batista, then JBL and Cena, right? Those are easily compared to like Charlie Clips versus Rex and Conceited versus V Magic. Like those matches are like just make themselves in that regard. And then you still have a pretty solid undercard with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. RP to Eddie Guerrero. I could have did without the Big Show sumo match, and I could have did without that. And I was about to say I could do without that, but Trish Stratus, I think she was in the Triple Threat, and that was a dope match.
It was versus Chrissy Hemme.
Yeah.
Could have just did her versus Lita.
Right. I don't know why I thought it was triple. That was WrestleMania 19. She was in the Triple Threat. I think about it because it was against Jazz and the other Jazz, not our Jazz rapper, the other Jazz.
You don't want that, but that Jazz.
Yeah. I'm about to say Jazz. It was the Jazz and Victoria. That's why I probably thought of that. But yeah, her and Chrissy Hemme. But overall, you said what? First money in the bank. Thank you. Mm-hmm. First money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, just amazing WrestleMania, amazing Summer Madness. And the crazy thing is, the reason why I also think they can compare to each other so well is because when we think of the best ones, it's like we know they're really good, but we don't really put them in that breath of being the best ones. And when we talk about best WrestleManias, nobody ever really says 21. They say like, oh, that was a good WrestleMania, but they don't say it was one of the better ones or one of the best ones. They just say it was good. Right. I kind of feel like that's the same thing with Summer Madness 4. I know like 2014 was like, again, maybe like the peak and pinnacle of Battlerap to a degree in that second win, but I don't think people will say like, oh, Summer Madness 4 could easily be one of the best Summer Madnesses. Like,
the crazy part is, if I had time, I was going to do this whole video on ranking Summer Madnesses. I think I had Summer Madness 4 like number 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. Like when you really look at the card from top to bottom. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what other Summer Madness really, in terms of battles, like you said, the quality of battles really compares to that Summer Madness. So yeah, but my number 2, I was going back and forth between if I made this number 1 and 2, but I have this number 2. I gotta go Highstakes. You had Daylight's Matrix
against B Magic. He literally made B Magic disappear. That's crazy.
Yo, yeah, O-Red Hitman. People sleep on O-Red. O-Red was good.
But Hitman was wild.
He was like, oh man, the whole story he set up, performance. Then you had Sue Surf and Cow, which people sleep on that battle.
Sue Surf was better than what I remember when I watched it back.
A lot better than I remember. And people got to give Cow his respect because he's really got a lot of people out of here that people don't really talk about that. Right. But then you got, in my opinion, the greatest battle for me personally I've ever seen.
Not mad at it.
Lux and Hollow. Like Lux coming off Summer Madness 2, people was like, well, is he gonna be the same? What's he gonna do? Hollow coming off the Surf.
And it was shaky.
Yeah, it was okay, but it was like this rivalry that was supposed to be actually at Summer Madness 3, I believe. Yep. Mm-hmm. But then it had like, I need 40 shorty. So it's like, but to me, that's like the greatest back and forth. Every round, there was something important, a moment. But stand up niggas don't lean. You had GPS don't I forgot
UPS. I'm just trying to tell you, PS, don't rush your delivery.
Don't rush your delivery, yo.
Crazy.
He set it up in the middle of the battle, right while Lux was right. Like, it was just everything. You had the Lux with the Black Panther, like it was just everything.
One of my favorite lines. One of my favorite lines from Lux. I wouldn't consider Don King, but it's good for promotion. Lux is fire, man. Like,
leaving off the moms. Like, you went off in that joint. You got Yardigans. But anyway, when I compare this card to the next card, I'm kind of gonna go off just one battle. Like Lux versus Hollow is the pinnacle in terms of just if I'm showing somebody Battlerap, I'm showing somebody this battle. So when I think of that, I gotta go to WrestleMania 25, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. And the funny part is still kind of that light versus darkness. like Lux and Hollow, kind of light versus darkness. If we really thinking about it, with him preaching to him about saying them niggas don't leave. So with Undertaker and Shawn, they play that up too about light versus darkness. And to me, I'll watch that match. I could watch that match forever and still be entertained. Like I don't know what's going to happen. That's how crazy that match is, and the emotion that match has it's crazy to me. You still got solid stuff under that. You still got the Money in the Bank, CM Punk winning. You got the crazy stuff with the Legends versus Jericho with Mickey Ward knocking him out. You still got the Hardy match.
The Hardy match is fire.
People, for some reason, it's like either you love it or you don't. I really like the match.
Yeah,
I thought it was dope with the twist of fate with the chair. That was crazy. And even the only thing I hated about that pay-per-view was actually the main event. But outside of that, people don't even think about the main event.
Right.
But outside of that, I think, yeah, that wrestling. If I would show somebody wrestling, I would show them the promo before it, and then the match itself. And the same thing with Hollow. Their promo, I think that's probably one of the best promos with the 24/7 UW did, which people don't really remember. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that's, Loaded Lux and Hollow and Shawn and Taker just depend.
So for me, I was in the building for this, so this probably played a huge role as to why it's my favorite event. 2021 Til Death Do Us Part. Amazing battle rap experience as a fan. This is before I became like a full-fledged media member, pseudo media member. Where to start? Drake was in the building handing out drinks.
Yo, like they said, look, you know what? I was about to say, they said Lux up in that main event, bro. They said,
I ain't gonna lie, we was so geeked, bro. Like it was crazy because like if you look on camera, it looks like it's a huge crowd. It probably was only maybe 800. Like it was a lot more intimate than what people see on, because like if you actually were there, it's like the crowd wasn't that big, and you had pretty much easy access to like the battlers, the stars, or whatever. They were just walking around, like enjoying the festivities and stuff like that. But the focus was still on the battles, and that's what I appreciated. Like Drake was in a building, but Drake was just like any other fan for the most part. Like he didn't take no attention. Like in Summer Madness 2, everybody would look up at Diddy, see if he react, and then go back to we was just strictly there for the battles, bro. And that's
that's dope. Like Drake was really like, it seemed like y'all was just having a fun time. Like he was just there to be another guy. Like he wasn't really trying to outshine nobody. I think that was really dope. I hope we get another Drake card sometime. Yeah, for real.
Yeah. The freaking RIP to Paste, by the way. RIP to Paste. Paste, sick, dope battle. Really enjoy that battle. Gaddis versus Jazz. Jazz delivered a masterclass performance. I think that's one of my favorite Jazz performances. I don't know if it's quite the best because you still have her versus 40, you still have her versus E Hart, and obviously her versus Vixen that just happened. But in terms of just doing everything from angles, jokes, bars, like her basketball bars. I was 18 when they threw me to the Wolves. Like what?
I don't know how she did the same thing versus E Hart with the whole pick and roll. I'm like the old Jazz. Like
right. And then you also had you also had Rock versus Twerk.
Bro, yeah.
Rock versus Twerk. And right after I
can watch you stop.
Turn my head. Nah, and then to me, I think the best part of that battle was you get Tay-Rock's second round, and Twerk says, "All right, you really." I see, because Twerk first is really good, and then Rock's first is really good, and then Rock goes again, and he gives us the second round. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to." That was probably the longest second round of his career, by the way. But I'm gonna give you the second round. And Twerk was mad. He said, "All right, you trying to do too much." So he get his third round. Yeah.
Was that the round he did the lean with it?
Rock with it. There go your franchise, boy. And then the whole it may split Drake head look like the Sprite commercial.
Like, bro, that was like 2009. That commercial came out. How you even remember that, bro?
Yeah, that
was like, oh my god! Shout out to your video, the Pentagon. What do you call it?
The Rapper's Pentagon.
The Rapper's Pentagon. The whole yo, you doing work, bro? But yeah, that Twerk, man. Like, if he I think he could be the GOAT for real. Like, no disrespect, nobody else. If he was prepared 100%, I don't think there's nobody on earth that can beat him. Like, either he's going to have a classic or he's going to have a body.
Right.
I don't think I see anybody truly beating him outside of like a Tay-Rock. There's only one I could probably match him, like in terms of performance and everything. But yes.
Then you had right after that you had Surf versus Cal. I think Surf versus Calico is a good battle, and I know people are gonna say like his best performance was against John that year, but material wise, Surf's material was crazy.
Like, I think he was in a mode of not trying to slip up, so he wasn't really waiting for action. He was just to it. Like, he was in the zone. He didn't have no white shirt on. He had the black hoodie on. He was just going off. And Cal was still Cal. Yeah. Cal still him. He was talking to him. He had raps. I think if Cal did better in the third round, I think we would have that battle in higher regard. Yeah. Than what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that was a dope battle. And then, Rum Nitty versus Rex. At least we got a major haymaker from Rex that I ain't gonna front. That's probably the biggest like pump fake of all time. Like, that was the biggest pump fake of all time. Like, when Rex hit us with the funerals recycle versus 2. We like, oh! We thought he was about to take off.
That's the worst line I've ever heard Rum Nitty do with the Whitney Houston.
Oh, you didn't like that?
I'm like, what?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm in the middle because, like, on one hand, it's like that reminds me of when like Bill Collector did the put your face to your chest, now you breastfeed. It's like some people. It's either fire or it's not. It's either you like it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Do your chest read you? I love that.
But nah, I mean, even that was entertaining in spurts, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously Geechee Lux, I mean, that was a huge moment. And I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna lie, people say Lux got set up. I mean, he may have in terms of, he's an older guy, you know what I'm saying? It was like it's 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock his time, but it's like it's 11-ish or whatever West Coast time, so he probably was tired. But I ain't gonna lie to you, they was giving it up for Lux. His first round was crazy. People actually gave Lux the first round. I give Lux the first round.
I give him the first round for sure.
Yeah, he was wild in the first round. I think what happened was that like the second round, he kind of went into like a approach bag that just wasn't really like, because he tried to touch on the avocado situation, which was touched on all 2020, right? And then he tried to touch on a couple situations like with coffee.
But he did it in a clever way, though. He did touch a tree and leave your hands alone. I'm like, God, leave your hands alone, bro. Like,
Adam's family, that was crazy.
Like,
that was crazy. Yeah. But even that battle was amazing.
I don't think it's a preference. Even with Geechee, I'll say this: Geechee did win, but it's still a preference battle in terms of what you like. You can still enjoy that battle, though. Even whoever you had winning, like Geechee was. I think, in my opinion, that might be Geechee's greatest overall performance. I don't know if he has a performance like that outside of maybe Surf, to where he just on one the whole time. He has the crowd, he has momentum. Every round he goes up, like he never went down in our entire battle. He continued to go up the entire time. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I think the reason why you can make the argument is because he clearly won the Lux battle, whereas like Surf, he may have been the best version of himself, but like you can't really be the best version of yourself if if everybody kind of has you losing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird dynamic. It's like, yeah, you can be the best version of yourself, but you're gonna have to win though. You know what I'm saying? So like, but I get what you're saying. The only other Geechee I would put up there is like him versus Chess. I thought all 3 rounds of him versus Chess was kind of nuts. But
I got that still. I'm gonna give you a little insider. I still got a Patreon video I'm about to do on that. So yeah,
bet that. That's a fire battle. That's a fire battle. Yeah, man. But I compared Til Death to I was trying to only because like before I compare like all the Summer Madnesses to WrestleMania, but it's just like this felt like a WrestleMania 2 though, so I have to compare Til Death Do Us Part 2. My favorite WrestleMania of all time. May not be the best, but it's my favorite WrestleMania 19. WrestleMania 19 is one of the most underrated WrestleManias of all time. To me, you only had 1.5 bad matches, and when I say 1.5, I'm talking about the when Undertaker went against the A-Train, and I don't remember his tag team partner. I don't remember his tag team partners. I ain't going to
nobody remembers.
It was Nathan something. I don't know, but I just know he went against Big Show. He went against Big Show and A-Train, and then that was the one bad match. And then half of the bad match is Triple H versus Booker T, when Triple H kind of buried Booker T. And that's the half of it. It's like it was a cool match up until the last moment where
it lasts like 12 seconds. It was
right.
If Booker T would have won, like if people remember that battle, that match differently.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's number 2 greatest WrestleMania of all to me. Second greatest WrestleMania of all time, 19. Especially still talking Rock Austin, even though they had a better match before. But
that was
still,
still a like match.
Rock's promo on that
fire.
Rock's promo leading up to it, and then that night when he said finally, he took his glasses off and like he looked like he was about to cry, like it's the end of an era.
Right.
Like that was like, yo, that's how you do a promo.
Yeah.
Like it's emotion. Austin, he wasn't even like he was in the hospital the night before.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then Brock and Lesnar, like Angle was about to go to the hospital.
Yep.
And then Brock wound up going to the hospital.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah, man. Nah, that WrestleMania is super fun. Like, even the opening match between Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio was super fun. That's an underrated like cruiserweight ish. It's crazy that Matt Hardy was cruiserweight at one point. Like that's kind of crazy. But yeah, that was fire. We talked about triple threat match early on with Jazz Victoria and Trish. Dope matchup.
Sam. You said it's tag match. People don't really talk about. I think it was like Los Guerreros World Famous tag.
Yeah. It was a triple. I think it was a triple threat, right? It was a triple threat tag match.
I think it was triple threat. It was like Benoit Rhino. I think it was the other team.
I know Rhino was on another team, but that was a dope match too. Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho.
That match.
Technical, masterpiece.
It was like a mirror match almost.
Yeah. But I compare those two just because I consider like Till Death, when it's all said and done, will be a very, very memorable event, but I don't quite know where it would rank of all time events, just because like there's certain things that are like just so bring so much nostalgia, whether it's Summer Madness 4, Summer Madness 2, all those type of events and stuff like that, the first NOME. So I don't quite know where it will rank all time, but I do think it'll go down as one of the best, but it may not be put in like that best spot. So that's why I kind of compared it to
I mean, it had Drake hosted, bro. Like,
right.
There's nothing you can no other event you can compare to Drake hosted in the first, like, even though they had Summer Madness 11, it's the first like real event, like people were outside. And like people, you had RP Pastay, man. Pastay, just like almost every battle outside of, I'll say, Rum and Rex. Every battle, there was something important. Real Sick was trying to prove he can do it on the big stage. Pastay was just coming back from the cage trying, like every battle had something important that it meant something to the culture. So so I think that's a great comparison to WrestleMania 19, is every match has something that was important in a new era or the end of an era. So But number one, we alluded to it earlier, NOME 9. When I bought that pay-per-view, top to bottom, there's not one
fire, the best NOME of all time.
There's not one battle. You had the Jack Boy, John. Shout out, prayers up for Jack Boy. Hope he's doing it.
For sure.
You had the John with the, you want to change that Jack? Go get it! Like, it was just like, that whole crazy part. And you had Sean and Rum. Yeah, I don't care about what Rum did in the third. That battle back and forth was so
fire.
Crazy. Rum choked. Crowd was just like, get it back. Facts. Let's get it back.
Right.
And then when he started to get it back, and then K-Shawn was like, what the fuck? It looked like he was doing some like alien shit.
He had it. I thought I had it.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? He said, and bringing them out like 22 twos, and there's a reasonable. I'm like, that battle crazy, bro. And then you had
Pastay Suge.
past state Suge. I didn't expect that battle to be as good as it was. I'm not gonna hold you.
Suge was
Like,
in his bag that
Suge,
battle.
He had the
Schoolboy. Yep.
Fit. Like Suge was in his bag, bro. And then past God, man, that's why it breaks my heart, man. Like past state. Like he went up there and said, you know, why no white book? He's like, some, you know, try to check, I'm cut back. Motherfucking shock attack. Like it's like, yo.
Nah, he told Suge, he said, if I do crack, that's something you should look into.
Yo, and then you had Surf. You still had Surf and Geechee. Geechee defended champion of the year versus Surf, who was like kind of on shaky ground because he was kind of giving us so-so performances. He came back. I think that's his outside of last year. That's his cleanest.
Yeah, I think that's his best performance of all time. Yeah,
it might be because I don't think he's had a more clean and a great just overall riding performance and everything. Like what that battle meant, like and then you still had, in my opinion, I might one day have to do something about this, but I think that's the end of an era in terms of Midwest movement and New York. Like that, I think that is the defining end of an era with Lux and Verb. Like I think, I might have to do something on that one day, but just that battle once again. It wasn't Mook and Verb for me in terms of nervousness, but it just in terms of
meant so much, man.
It meant so much. Like Lux first round, he didn't have the haymakers, but he still had.
He was talking. He was still talking.
Then Verb, he kind of got to this pocket to where he wasn't really trying to angle nothing. He just the flow. He was just a cadence, and he was going crazy. Then still like this, like then Lux in the second round with all these gun bumps on the car to the call smack. It was not like it was crazy. Yeah. But when I compare that to top to bottom, a card that I think like doesn't really have any misses for real, I gotta go SummerSlam 2002. SummerSlam 2002, I think top to bottom.
Yes.
Like you go from
Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio.
Jericho, Flair, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle started off.
Fire.
You got I think Eddie Edge. You got Shawn Michaels return
Triple
H, and that match is like we talked about previously. Like that's one of my favorite matches ever, bro. Like Shawn Michaels after a 4-year hiatus, he looked like he never missed a day. And then you have probably the most underrated matches. People don't really talk about Brock versus Rock.
Yeah,
like that's a changing of the guard with Rock with Rock really starting to go to Hollywood, and Brock now becoming the guy. They crowned him the guy, and that match was so crazy. New York turned on Rock, and Rock kind of embraced it, and then Brock just was unbeatable. Like, he was just a monster. Yeah, top to bottom SummerSlam 2002. Like it's not outside of like the Undertaker. I don't know what Undertaker is like versus like the Un-Americans or something like that. But outside of that, top to bottom, that pay-per-view was just unmatched. So yeah, I gotta go SummerSlam 2002, NOME 9. Like I miss those days.
Yeah,
this was fun, man. Like it really got me thinking. Like I was up all last night trying to think like how to compare the pay-per-views and stuff. But yeah, it was fun as hell, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Hey, but we're gonna do some more collabs. You know what I'm saying? Really, really, like I said, I really enjoy your content. I'll put in the description below his Patreon and also like some of my personal favorite videos that he's done on YouTube. And sidebar, I just want to thank you very much because you was actually one of the first bloggers that actually supported me when I was on the panel. You did a watch of the panel a while ago. You was like, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. So just seeing somebody, because I was getting a lot of backlash. You feel me? Like, a lot of people were like, who is this guy? Like, who's he? You know what I'm saying? A couple battlers would be kind of crazy because they're like, who is it? We don't know him. What is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate looking out for me. You know what I'm saying? Part of the reason why I was encouraged to kind of get into media. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that for real.
Yeah, because I didn't know you, I was even more tuned in what you was going to say. We know all the Henny Mans and the Jay Blacks and the Francis. We know them.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know this guy. Was he going to be like a goofball? Do you know what he's talking about? Is he an expert? So when you started talking and started breaking down battles and stuff, I'm like, yo, this guy needs a channel. That's the first thing I was like, this guy needs a channel, man. You know what he's talking about. So yeah, like it's crazy. It's almost been a year. I think that panel happened like in January last year.
Yeah.
So it's been a year. I don't know how long your channel been going on, but what's your content you're doing? I just hope you pray you keep doing it. I like that you did the top 25 like RBE battles. You did the whole caffeine era versus new. Like that's the type of stuff I'm eventually starting to get out of doing reactions and even doing recaps and I'm kind of more in my writing bag. So y'all gonna see for my Battlerap Hold It Down people like this guy right here. He knows what he's talking about. He got a love for the sport, the art. He ain't into all the BS. Like sometimes I could be a little ratchet. I'm not gonna hold you, but this guy knows what he's talking about. Man. Definitely shout out to you, man.
Hey man, I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you, and we're out.
Love.